know that there are ways to ensure that you can get your pets the best care when you have pet sitters? Welcome to Pawprints and Passports podcast, where we explore the world through pet sitting with myself, Glenyce.
And Rodney, hubby, and he doesn't want to talk to people, so he's going to have his back to you.
This is Binks at our current sit, and down here, you can't see probably just yet, he'll probably make his way up, is Brad, a little dog.
This is a big cat. I mean big.
It is a Savannah breed. I had to Google it too. So, all right, so we wanted to talk about just tips for ensuring your pets get the best care when you have people like us, pet sitters, coming in to care for them.
Also, it takes a lot of frustration out of us being here and wondering, like, does he have chicken? Does he eat off the table? We don't know.
Yeah. So that is something through the platform that we use on Trusted House Sitters. There is a welcome guide that the pet parents can fill out. It's just sometimes they don't. And when they don't, it means there's a lot of texts usually going back and forth between us and the pet parents. So if you are utilizing a platform, that would be our number one tip. Please fill out that welcome guide. And you don't actually have to put it on Trusted House Sitters. As long as you follow the guide with all the questions, because there's so many great questions that probably you as a pet parent don't really think about, that if you were to fill it out, even if you were to handwrite it, just make sure that it's legible, and then it gives us all the information. I mean, we were at a sit not that long ago, and she had a binder,
Yep.
which was broke down into sections for us.
And not only that, it was in sections, and then when you went out to feed the farm animals, there was a row of sticky notes. Do X, do Y, all the way along. You could have walked in and actually never seen them and done it. But the majority of our sits so far have been with just a sheet of paper sometimes. And then we end up not knowing that the dog gets 2 treats a day and we didn't give him any treats. And then the dog gives us a poor review.
We always joke about that, if the pets are going to give us, 5 stars or not. So far, all the pet parents have. We're not sure about all the pets, although possibly Binks would.
Oh, we haven't had a pet that said, get out of here.
Well,
Ooh,
sometimes when we don't give them the treats they want.
that's true.
But it is something for you to consider as a pet parent in looking at if the person coming in knows nothing of your animal, what is the best way that we can care for them? And if you only want them to have 2 treats a day, you need to specify that. And we were actually just...
Well, with us, you definitely need to specify that because we like to treat them.
We like our current pets that we're sitting to be happy. And I know the one that we're going to, the pets that we're going to, she said that she wrote down the dog gets, 8 to 10 treats a day. But she also admitted to us she knows it's way more. So, it's also good in that sense if it's like, this is what we would like, but we know this happens. Because, of course, animals, when their pet parents go away, they can get depressed, they can be really sad, they can, like this little dog Brad, he was searching all over for them. And so sometimes there's some comfort in some treats, which I think you and I know about too.
Oh, yeah.
So a few of the things that you want to really make sure that your pet sitters are aware of would be obviously food, any allergies, any behaviors.
Vet. Should definitely make sure we know where their vet, and if you can make arrangements with your vet before you leave, I don't know, leave a blank check, leave a credit card number, leave a wad of cash for us, however you want to have him paid, the thing paid for, because things don't normally happen, and we haven't had anything bad happen, touch wood, but we did have one dog that managed, it was in the yard, so we know it wasn't attacked by anything, managed to get itself cut, and it must have run by a piece of machinery the farmer had. So in their binder they had the vet's name, they also had money on the on their account for this incident, or for an incident if it did happen. And it was really easy. We drove in, dropped him off. He had his he had to have stitches, and he stayed there all day, and then we picked him up that evening. It was easy, but if we didn't know what vet to go to, now we're contacting the pet parent who maybe is out and about and don't get their text. What do we do? Do we just wait? And this dog was not in shock, but it was shaking, and it wasn't doing well. So we didn't have to really contact them. We did notify them, but we were already on the way to the vets by then. And he survived.
Yeah, and it is something that I would say almost all of them since that one, we've made sure to ask the pet parents to let the vet know, and then actually put our names down to have signing authority, because if we wouldn't have, it would have been difficult. The pet sit that hubby's talking about is one where the couple was out of the country and only on WhatsApp, so they didn't have cell, so they only had Wi-Fi. And if they hadn't set it up with the vet, they would have had to probably go onto their cell, incur some charges to make the phone call and give us permission to make these choices, but they'd already done that. And so we, I think for the most part, have asked everyone, remembered to ask every pet parent to give us permission.
Now. Yeah.
Especially if they're out of country, for sure.
Yeah, because you don't expect anything to happen. I mean, every time we go anywhere, they say, oh, they're lovable, they're not going to get into any mischief. And we know some of these cats. I don't know where he's gone to, but we know what these cats are like.
Yes, and it just makes it easier to me for the pets too. And I guess that's where we often will look at it from, is if we can keep their lives as normal as possible when we're sitting, meaning their food is the same and their treats are the same and the timing of things is as close to the same as possible, that it's easier on them, because it is really, probably not every animal, certainly not every animal that we've sat, but most of the animals, they are sad, and it's changed and it's different, and they're, confused or not sure what's going on, and at least they can be at home. They're not in a kennel somewhere. But also, how else could you make it easier? Sometimes leaving your t-shirt out is nice for them to be able to go and sleep on, or keeping their favorite treats handy, especially if they don't eat when you leave. There's a lot of pets we've dealt with that tend to stop eating because that parent is gone. And so if you have that extra special food that really gets them, that's really handy for us and for your pet.
Yeah, there's nothing more worrying than if they're not eating, because we don't know if it's just because mum and dad are gone.
Yeah.
Or like this one, the cat is the little boy's cat, and he was wandering around to start with, looking for someone.
Yeah.
So
we even had to open up the little boy's bedroom because I think both the cat and the dog thought maybe they were hiding in there. So we had to open up the bedroom door so they could go in and check it out and see that they're not there. And these animals are pretty laid back, but they're still missing them. And so if you think of the more, I'd say, high-strung animals, and if you have one of those, please fill out some sort of a welcome guide. And we always prefer if we can meet up with people ahead of time, come to their place, walk through, meet the animals. In fact, our next set, we've met them once already. We'll go again one more time, and then we'll be there the day that the pet parent leaves, just to make it, again, extra normal for the dog, so it's not as traumatizing.
yeah, that's for sure. And there's lots of little things. Those are big things, but there's lots of little things like, where is the extra stash of cat food? Because we always kept ours in one spot in the cupboard, in the kitchen, but not everybody does. Some people have got it down in the basement, in the garage. It's everywhere. So little things like that, where's the cat food hidden, or where's the dog food? Well, not hidden, but where's it put?
Yeah.
And do they need to go for a walk? Do they like to get up in the middle of the night and take a pee break?
Yes.
Just little things that you wouldn't think of. That's why if you go through the welcome guide, you can see there are some things you don't, you look at it and you think, well, I don't need to fill that out, which is obvious, but there's lots of little things that are really important. Do they always sleep in the basement? So we're not trying to get them upstairs when that's where they sleep all the time.
Or where do they go when they're scared? You know, with our kitty Toddy, you know, if she was outside in the yard and something came in and startled her, she would actually, what would she do? Climb up
She'd
that...
run up the trellis by the window and then sit there. But there was only a little 2x6 board for her to sit on the 2-inch piece. So I put a little platform for her. And then we'd open the window and she'd just hop in, which was fine. But then she started thinking that's how she comes and goes.
But it's, you know, if we wouldn't have told people that, they would have probably thought she was missing, because she would just sit up there in safety and watch the world go by. And unless you went into that bedroom and looked out the window, you actually wouldn't see her. I don't even remember how we found her the first time
we were looking for her. I don't know.
And I mean, I'm grateful that she knew where to go and to keep herself safe. And it was great that it was there, but people had to know about it. And so if you're, you know, and you might not even know, you might not know how your pet acts when you're not there, what happens. But if you've ever seen them in an odd place, make sure to mention that just in case. And I would also say, and this isn't just pet care, now we're on to more comfort. Oh, this is Brad.
There's Bradley.
Yes.
Say hi, Brad.
Such
Look
a
over there.
cutie.
Look. No, not me. Turkey.
And for the pet sitters themselves, comfort for us is knowing basically what's okay to utilize in the house, in the cupboards, and what's not. If there's things that are off limits, just be really clear with that. I'm okay knowing, you know, that we can't use anything in the pantry, but just let me know really clearly. If you don't, then we actually won't use it, and it gets kind of weird. So usually pet parents let us know usually they let us know either in the welcome guide or when they're walking us through, or text or whatever in our communication. And that's great. And then that one that we had, she just put everything in her bedroom that she didn't want us to use. Yeah. And then just said anything else you can see, you can use. So that was nice too, to have that clarity.
And I think the majority of the sits we've had, they've said, you know, well, it's always been, you can use anything, but just not this little section here in the freezer. You know, so...
And
go.
And with that, we also want to say we don't go around like just utilizing their whole, you know, everything in their kitchen and eating everything up. That's not what we mean at all.
No, the best part is with this traveling, if we haven't got, we like pea salad, for instance. So if you don't have lemon juice, are you going to go out and buy a bottle of lemon juice? You know, and they've got it in the fridge. So it's nice if they say you can use anything.
And I guess the other thing would be just to be clear with what you would like done around the house. If there's plants to water, or if there's a certain day garbage goes out. And again, this is if you're not filling out the welcome guide, because the welcome guide will take you through all of that information. It kind of guides you through. But if you're doing it on your own, or you're not using Trusted House Sitters as the platform, just make sure that all of this stuff, if you weren't there for the next week and garbage goes out on Friday, make sure to say that. And with that said, make sure to say how the garbage can should be placed.
Oh, yeah. We were at a sit. I put the two cans out, the black and the blue, side by side. And in the morning, the guy come along and he took the blue one, emptied it, put it right back. And then I noticed up the street, some people had green out too. So I brought the blue in and put the green right in the same spot, which apparently the next garbage guy was not on having a good day, because he left a nasty little tag saying too close and left it.
And it wasn't necessarily nasty, it was just weird.
No, it was just...
because he took time to put the note, and it was like a setup note. It's one they use on all the carts, and you can circle whichever the problem is and put it on, but didn't take the garbage. So, you know, you do want to make sure that if you've got a potential problem with garbage pickup and how things need to be spaced, that you let us know too, because man, that could be a very stinky week.
One last thing before we sign off, I've just thought of is, we always get given the passcode for the doors. But we did have an incident where the battery had gone dead on the door. We couldn't get back in. So it would be nice if you can get a key to one of the doors in the house, so you can come in through the basement or whatever. But this one we were locked out in the yard with 3 dogs, and the cat was inside, but luckily the parents had just landed, so we only had a half hour, and it was nice weather too. It wasn't winter. So that's one of the things I always try to remember is get a key for any door. It doesn't matter what door.
Because those are great, and it makes it so much easier to get in and out. However, when the battery goes dead and we don't have a key, I mean, we'd have to either get a locksmith or break in, you know, had they not been landing, or, you know, maybe they had neighbors that had a key or something, but just something to keep in mind too, because it's just one of those things.
And things happen. Doesn't matter what you have in that binder.
Yep.
There's bound to be something that's not covered.
Yep. All right, well, hopefully you enjoyed these. If you've got any questions or any episode topics that you would like us to cover, please let us know. You can check out our merch on the link below, and yeah, we would love to hear from you.
Okay, so it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye. Brad, we did it.